Hi, folks. All right, back again. We're running through 1971 like gangbusters here. Something a little groovier. We're going to jump into the R&B and funk field of 1971. Subterranean Visions. You know, after the book Subterraneans, about going underground in New York to listen to jazz music in the 50s. And the vision side of it is, the musical vision, whether it's performing, creating, listening, the visions it creates, the inspirations. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. Scott, I'm a guitar player for 30 plus years, played, a bunch of different instruments. Don't have a huge collection, although it looks like I do. But most of them are either instruments I made or instruments that kind of passed through the family that I've sort of been collecting. And, I've done some audio engineering for half a decade and basically just curious and about music, and always have been kept it in my orbit more or less. So I've always sort of been up and around the world and in the music that's out there. So always open to different music of all different styles. So that's something also in the channel. It's going to be, I know that that people always have their favorites and things like that. But I'm going to always try to be pushing the boundaries a little bit into what I'm listening to and what I'm going to be putting out there. So there's always going to be some new stuff out there. This is about digging deeper into the music making experience, music making, creating, the history, and basically trying to maintain the archives of what's out there, what people can access. And we're not I know there's plenty of channels out there that are like more of like a greatest hits jukebox, like, experience this, but, there's enough out there. I'm here to sort of maintain, and create sort of an archive for music that people can come into and enjoy and learn at the same time. How much musical content and the diversity and the quality came out in that one year. I can't imagine living in that year and thinking like nobody made enough money to get all the albums and listen to all the albums that came out every week. You'd have to buy like 10 albums every week to like keep up with all the stuff that came out. So it's just, that's the question I have. When you're growing up, 1971, I was born in 1971, but I wasn't out buying records. But when you were out, which records, were you buying like the Billboard charts? Were you going off, the album releases? How did you know what was coming out? Was it just in the stores? You just saw what was coming out? How did you keep up with the music? How did you keep up with all the music that was coming out on a weekly basis? That's what I want to know. A song called All Day Music by the band War, with Howard Scott on guitar, B.B. Dickerson on bass, Lonnie Jordan on organ, Harold Brown on drums, Papa D. Allen on conga and bongos and percussion, Charles Miller on flute and alto tenor and baritone sax, and Lee Oscar on harmonica. And they all sort of also contributed on vocals. And I've got a bit to say about the band War after this, but let's listen to the music. And here we go. All Day Music. I've heard this one a little bit. I just feel like it's a great juxtaposition of the band at this time, looking through. So this is the one I'm going to do. But please give me some other choices for the band. I've listened to War quite a bit, but here we go.
All right, here we go. Let's do it tonight.
Here we go. Let's do it. That bass is so... Again, acoustic. That just went across. 1 minute, and that's all just like warming up. That's all just like testing, getting levels up. The bass is like find the sound. The guitar is like you can tell he turned up a little bit after there. Okay, that's good. They're all getting set up a whole minute, and they leave this on the album. Oh my God! Try to talk someone into do that today. Okay. So yeah, pretty much near perfect song as I can imagine for, I mean, it's got the perfect vibe for, you're having a picnic, you're out for a hike, you're out for driving in your car. It doesn't really matter. You just want to have good vibes, good, positive momentum, positive imagination, everything like that. It's all day music. It's all week music. It's all year music. It's everyday music. So yeah, again, like Funkadelic, it's got acoustic guitar, or maybe it's like it might be an arch top that's not like, but it's not, doesn't sound like it's plugged in. So it's very acoustic sounding, that's something that's like, I feel is missing too. People negate kind of using all these acoustic instruments for anything, R&B or funk or Latin music, all these, but yeah, it's here. Yeah, everything's laid back. It's got two parts to it. The biggest stand obviously is the organ, B3. That's a big thing nowadays. Nobody uses B3 anymore. Or other keyboards. We don't use the keyboards anymore. We use their the all-in-one keyboards, the Nords, the this and that, to get the B3 sounds, to get the Wurlitzer electric piano sounds, to get the I forget the other keyboard I'm listening to. It has a much darker tone to it. That was very popular in the 70s. So yeah, and it's, we think they sound the same. They don't, trust me. My friend had a B3 organ in his apartment and with Leslie speakers, and that thing would push you across the room. I mean, you felt it as much as you heard it. So there's just not, maybe in the mix, it's hard to tell, but it's not the same. We've sort of taken the convenience out of it. But yeah, B3 organs, you can't move them around as much as a keyboard, even though we tried bringing them upstairs and downstairs, in his apartment. He brought out to gigs sometimes. He'd roll a B3 organ into the gig. Anyway, let's get back to it. Yeah, War's the perfect song, like their stuff. It's always, you're going to be put into this sort of, it's just going to filter out all the bad shit. Here we go.
To soothe your mind, yeah.
Those percussion. Yeah, I mean, God, all day music, forget about it. It's just, yeah, it's fantastic. It's got everything. It's got the foundation. It's got the guitar, drums and bass all keeping it locked down, and then you have the organ just keeping this lush backdrop, and then the vocals, like the harmonies, stacked vocals, stacked harmonies, and then you got the one guy who's on top who's just soaring above. I mean, yeah, it's everything. Got the harmonica, I forgot him. Got the sax, Charles Miller, sax, got the harmonica. I mean, it's the full package. So this debuted at 168 on the Billboard, and 1120 peaked it on November 20th. Peaked at number 16 in June in 1972, the following year, and was the second album with Eric Burdon. As a drummer said, I got a lot of my rhythms from Tijuana, Mexico. Because I'd go down there with my mother in the early 60s. I'd see people dancing in the bars, and those rhythms were where I got a lot of my patterns. In June 64, I had just graduated from Long Beach Polytechnic High School. I had money to save to go to college, but a schoolmate had a body and fender shop, and he was about to lose his business. He owed on his lease and owed all his workers. I told him I'd pay off all his debts, and I took over his business and started doing the work myself, making all kinds of money. I didn't want people on my back telling me when to be at work, because then I couldn't pursue being a musician. I had to be my own boss, and it was important to have transportation. So I got guitarist Howard Scott, keyboardist Lonnie Jordan, and other musicians together, and we went to the local musicians union to join. We'd play on Sunset Strip, Whiskey A Go-Go. We opened up for the OJs, Ike and Tina Turner, and the Righteous Brothers. This first road trip in 1965 went to El Paso, Texas. The owner of the club was telling us about this singer named Otis Redding that needed a backup band, and he suggested us. We were supposed to be Otis Redding's band. We would have been the Bar-Kays, but we didn't get the gig because Lonnie was still young and never finished high school, so his mother didn't want him to go anywhere, and then Howard and our trumpet player got drafted. Howard came out of the service and was about to get a job as a nurse. I met percussionist Papa D. Allen around that time. When I met him, he was playing congas and bongos at the same time he was getting his oil changed at a gas station. He worked with Wayne Henderson and the Jazz Crusaders. I told him we should try to form a band one time. If it didn't work, we'd go our own way. Anyway, so we changed the name of the band to Night Shift. I sought out Marshall Lieb again. He set me up for a drumming gig. He said, I really need guitar and strings, and I need bass amps. So I met Sonny Charles that day, and I knew my band was ready to go. So I called up Howard and we started rehearsing because I knew we'd have gigs coming. Deacon Jones was singing at the time, and he became a part of Night Shift. We were a review, Deacon Jones Review. Yes, the football player, reviewing the night, featuring the Night Shift and Sonny Charles. In 1969, Eric Burden came to see our show with Steve Gold and Jerry Goldstein, who ended up becoming our producer and manager. And it was the last weekend of playing with Deacon Jones while he was off playing golf. So it was Howard Scott, Lonnie Jordan, Sylvester Allen, Charles Miller, and Pete Rosen. We were playing our last song, and I see this skinny guy with an afro bigger than mine walking towards the stage saying, "Can I play harmonica with you?" It was Lee Oscar. He'd been homeless and sleeping on Eric Burden's couch. He came up and jammed, and once we were finished, people were clapping, and they said, "You guys look like you just came out of a war. Why don't we name you guys War?" And that's where Lee Oscar started with them. Anyway, they did the show at Ronnie Scott's with Hendrix is one of their most notable performances in 1970, for being the last public performance for Jimi Hendrix, who joined them on stage for the last 35 minutes of Burden and Ward's second set. A day later, he died. During the subsequent tour in 1970, Burden collapsed on stage during a concert caused by an asthma attack, and the band continued the tour without him. They finished the tour without him and returned to their record their first album as War. After Burden left the band played with the original member until 1979. In 1968, the Creators became Night Shift. Jordan claimed that the band's goal was to spread a message of brotherhood and harmony using instruments and voices to speak out against racism, hunger, gangs, crimes, and turf wars, and promote hope and spirit of brotherhood. I definitely would look forward to doing a whole album listen, or at least a medley of some tunes, because I think they're just such a strong force for, like they said, that brotherhood, in that period. It's such a fantastic place to sort of start and develop a little bit more into some of their music. So what's coming up for us? I don't know. We're jumping into, I definitely want to do another full album reaction. In what genre, I'm not sure yet. We're going to develop a more retrospective into the Canterbury scene and some of those bands. And it's going to be pretty much a pretty expansive set with that one, because there's a lot of groups, and I want to probably look at more of their debut albums of most of the groups and kind of do a nice little retrospective on that, because that's something I haven't heard a ton of, and I definitely need to do a deeper dive on that, and interested in everybody's opinion, and for sure, shoot a band, shoot an album or a song on that you think particularly needs to be showcased on, and I will definitely take that in consideration. Again, so lastly, appreciate it. We had Funkadelic, Can You Get to That? Gil Scott-Heron, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, and War All Day Music. I appreciate you all being here. Look forward to appreciate all your comments and everything like that specifically. So, you can support this endeavor, always by, liking the video, by subscribing, and just communicating, everything with me. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.